Hello, I'm Troy Sinclair from Power Marketing and Consulting. I'm going to ask you to pay close attention for the next few minutes because my team and I are going to share some proprietary information that could completely change the future of your business. This is not hype. It is very specific and detailed information that will genuinely give you the opportunity to triple your revenue stream for your business this year. We're going to teach you a 10-point marketing program called Total Domination that will give you such an edge over your competition that you will completely dominate your local market. But before we explain the 10 parts to Total Domination, I'd like to explain to you really quick what makes Power Marketing Consulting so unique amongst marketing agencies and why it matters to you. In short, we focus on the actual content. That is the marketing message that you put in your advertising. Most agencies just try to create something fancy, creative, slick, or entertaining. But at Power Marketing, we utilize a proven marketing system which has been applied to thousands of businesses across every industry imaginable to ensure maximum results. The Total Domination system you will see forms the foundation of our Power Marketing program, which is basically the only marketing program that is based on truth instead of gimmicks, trickery, or creativity. It's a systematically based marketing system that, when implemented properly, causes your prospects and customers to draw this conclusion: I'd have to be an absolute fool to do business with anyone else but you, regardless of price. That's right. Imagine your customer saying, I'd have to be an absolute fool to do business with anyone else but you, regardless of price. How would that change your business? This system works. So turn off your phone, close out any other windows on your computer, and allow me to introduce my associate, Diego Rodriguez. When Diego is finished, I will be back with a very special offer for you watching all the way to the end. And to have some fun, I call this our Mafia Offer Special, because I am going to make you an offer you absolutely cannot refuse. And I promise you that what you will hear will change your business forever. Also, I want you to know that many of the examples that you will hear were prepared around yellow page advertisements. However, you must understand that the principles that will be revealed, they will apply to your website, your magazine ads, your brochure, literally every form of advertising and marketing that you're spending money on today. You will clearly see that there is a specific 10-point marketing system that is remarkably different than anything that you've used and anything you've seen, and the real-world results speak for themselves. I will be back at the end to tie everything together for you. So buckle up, because this presentation is going to be fast-paced. Here is Diego Rodriguez.
So think about it this way. If somebody's looking at 10 ads from businesses in your industry, why would they choose you instead of one of your competitors? Well, usually the answer is that they wouldn't make a decision just based on the advertisements alone. Since almost all advertisements are full of the same platitudes and generic content, prospects cannot tell who offers the best value, so they simply call around and ask the same dreaded question: how much does it cost? Well, I have personally been trained by Rich Harshaw in his master's program, and we execute his MYM system for each of our clients as we develop their marketing material, including the services used in the market domination package. Now, for those of you who have already begun to research online marketing for your local business, you may have heard about the importance of optimizing your websites for search engines. Well, guess what? I'm here to tell you that search engine optimization simply isn't good enough. Yes, we do offer search engine optimization, or SEO, and as you probably know, there are lots of other companies who offer SEO services as well, with varying degrees of success. However, there is a problem with SEO that no other company has addressed. That problem is this: how do you get a prospect to choose you over another company when you finally do show up on page 1 of a Google search? Think about it. On a local search in Google, there are typically over 10 businesses that show up on page 1. So let's say that your business website, after a few months of SEO, shows up on page 1. Okay, that's great. But now how do you get a prospect to call you and to do business with you instead of your competitor? Well, you see this page right here on Google? It's basically the equivalent of a yellow page heading. In a yellow pages heading, you have all of your competitors in one place with ads that all say basically the same thing. Since the prospect can't tell who offers the best value, they simply pick up the phone, like I mentioned earlier, and ask, how much do you charge? Well, page 1 of Google is exactly the same. Since your prospect can't tell from this page or from each of these individual websites which company offers the best value, they simply click on each website and then call you or email you and ask the same dreaded question. You then feel forced to compete on price since that's all the customers seem to care about. Well, at Power Marketing Consultants, we fix this problem for you. Our system is built, again, to cause your prospects to say, I'd have to be an absolute fool to do business with anybody else but you, regardless of price. Now, it would take too long to explain how we do this, but if you're really interested, you can read the science behind our methodology in Rich Harshaw's book entitled Monopolize Your Marketplace. Or you can request Rich's audio training program from us. But let me at least give you some real quick insight into this. One of the main reasons why prospects can't tell the difference between you and your competitors is because every business on the planet, including yours, uses platitudes in their advertisements. So what's a platitude? Well, the definition of platitude is this. It's words or phrases that are drearily commonplace and predictable that lack power to evoke interest through overuse or repetition that nevertheless are stated as though they were original or significant. I need to repeat that definition. Let it really sink in this time. Platitudes are words or phrases that are drearily commonplace and predictable that lack power to evoke interest through overuse or repetition that nevertheless are stated as though they were original or significant. Now, in advertising, you're going to hear platitudes all the time. In fact, you'll hear and see them every time you see or hear an ad because that's what all ads have in them, including the ads that you are running right now. You'll hear things like largest selection, most professional, lowest prices, highest quality, best service, fastest, most convenient, largest inventory, more honest, experts in, specializing in, works harder, gets the job done right the first time. Ever heard that one before? Been in business since 1776 BC and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that you shouldn't actually be those kinds of things, but I am saying that you shouldn't use those platitudes in your ads. Why not? Well, think about it. If your ad says that you have high quality and great service, is that drearily commonplace and predictable? Of course it is. Does it lack power to evoke interest through overuse or repetition? Have you nevertheless stated it as though it were original or significant? Does your inside reality, what really makes you good, does that shine through? Can you tell specifically what makes you valuable to the marketplace when you say highest quality and service? See, you can't. You can't describe, demonstrate, exhibit, reveal, or display your inside reality using platitudes. It's impossible. All this results in an outside perception that you're what? That's right, just like everybody else. There's no distinction, no separation, no differentiation, none. It's simply impossible to demonstrate your superior value to the marketplace using platitudes. So if you've ever felt like you've got a great business, but you're the best kept secret in town, chances are extremely high that you are the master of the platitude. In fact, if you ever run any marketing piece of any kind ever, chances are it was littered with platitudes. If you don't think so, go grab your stuff right now, because I'm going to give you some evaluations here in just a second that will objectively confirm that what I'm saying is true. Folks, this is not my opinion. This is objective stuff. Now look, I'm not here to offend you or hurt your feelings, but if you're really interested in tripling your revenue, you need to listen to this and check your own stuff out, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. I mean, you tell me, do you think that the definition of platitudes describes most marketing and advertising today, or doesn't it? I mean, all marketing, including brochures, websites, signage, on-hold messages, billboards, trade show booths, direct mail, radio, TV, anything and everything else you can think of. But you know where there are more platitudes than anywhere else in the world? In the yellow pages. That's right. It's the worst in the yellow pages. Go ahead and open up the phone book right now and you'll see that all ads are full of platitudes, and this is why every ad stinks. And you know what? Nobody knows any better. Nobody, including you or your competitors. However, let me ask you a question. What if you were the first company in your industry to figure out how to do this right? What would that do for your local business? Just think about it. But before we move on, I want to share 3 evaluations with you that you can use right now to test whether or not your existing marketing material has platitudes in it or not. Okay, here we go. Platitude evaluation number 1 is called, well, I would hope so. When you make a claim, don't think about it in terms of it coming out of your mouth and making you feel good. You know how it feels so good to say that you offer higher quality or something like that. Instead, I want you to think about it in terms of entering your prospect's ears. Then you'll realize how ridiculous most platitudinal claims sound. When you say something, ask yourself if the prospect will immediately respond with, well, I would hope so. For example, I'm looking right now at a couple of ads for plumbers. This one says, professionally trained and licensed plumbers. Well, I would hope so. You're supposed to be a licensed contractor, for crying out loud. Or look at what this plumber puts in his ad to convince his prospects to choose him out of the other 10,000 plumbers in the area. Committed to honest, ethical service. Honest, ethical service? Well, I would hope so. What do you think he's going to say? I'm going to overcharge you, rip you off, expose my backside to your children when I bend over, and your leak still won't be fixed after I leave? Of course not. See, to just say honest and ethical service, it's a major platitude. It's drearily commonplace, it lacks power to evoke interest through overuse or repetition, and it was nevertheless stated as if it was original or significant. And you know what? Every single ad in this heading and every other heading in the phone book is full of nothing but platitudes. Furthermore, I can virtually guarantee that all of your marketing materials are loaded down with these types of platitudes right now. To further illustrate, let's move on to the second platitude evaluation, which is, who else can say that? Now pay close attention to this one. The question is not who else can do what you do, but who else can say what you say. The answer is usually anybody and everybody. To further explain this, let me share with you one of the stories Rich shares in his book. He tells the story of the time he consulted with an auto repair facility that was far and away the most awesome business of its kind. They had 63 bays, that's a lot, 11 mechanics who were all fully ASE certified in all 8 areas of specialization. They had twice as much high-tech equipment as any of the dealerships and floors so clean you could eat off of them. They turn out 95% of all jobs in less than 24 hours, and they unconditionally guaranteed all repairs for 12 months. If you ever called in to check the status of your car, instead of getting the runaround like you normally do at an auto dealership or a typical repair shop, they would patch you directly through to the actual technician working on your car via a wireless phone, and he'd tell you personally how things were going. They had a waiting room that included a play area for the kids, free drinks and snacks, magazines that were always current, imagine that, and bathrooms that were cleaner than the ones that you'd find in your house. Their inside reality was second to none, but they had a major marketing problem. Even though nobody could even come close to performing at their level, their advertising looked virtually identical to all their less competent competitors. Their Yellow Pages ad, for instance, and that's where a lot of their business was coming from, used the same generalities and platitudes as everyone else. ASE certified mechanics, foreign and domestic cars serviced, and then a long laundry list of services offered ranging from AC service to brakes to transmissions. And get this, they accept Visa and MasterCard. Good googly smook. If you were paying attention a minute ago, then you'll already realize that this fails the, well, I would hope so evaluation, but then ask yourself this question, who else can say that? See, Rich asked the owner and the service manager that very question, and the service manager started getting pretty upset. He said, there's no one else that can even touch us. The dealerships bring their cars to us when they can't fix them. Our mechanics are far and away the best in the state. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can say what we say. The guy got pretty bent out of shape about it. So finally, to make the point in a civil way, Rich had them get out a copy of the Yellow Pages right on the spot and see what all the competitors were saying. Well, let's just say that his jaw hung open for about 2 minutes before he pointed at the page and said to the service manager, look, I know this guy. He's terrible, and his ad says the exact same thing that ours does. In fact, I think he copied our layout and verbiage word for word. He looked at the page and saw that all the ads were virtually identical to his. There was no way to deny it, not when staring at the evidence. Remember, it's not what you can actually do. It's who can say what you're saying. Check for yourself. What are your competitors saying? If I were a betting man, and I'm not, I'd bet that they're saying exactly what you're saying, which leads me right into evaluation number 3. Okay, so here's the last quick platitude detection evaluation. Then we need to move on. It's called the scratch out, write in test. So look at your brochure, your website, your Yellow Page ad, or any other advertisement you have. Now, scratch out your name and write in the name of your top competitor. If the ad is still valid, if there wouldn't need to be any additional changes, then you've just failed the test. Now, get your competitor's ad and scratch out their name and write in yours. Do this exercise after you've watched this video. It could be very revealing. Well, I hope you caught all that. Platitudes are basically the #1 cause for dismal advertising results because everybody, and I mean everybody, is using them. When you work with Power Marketing, we fix this problem for you. No other marketing agency is going to fix this for you. In fact, they are usually the source of the problem. Okay, So now that you know about the platitude problem, let's talk about attracting your target customers. There are multiple ways to do this, but the best prospects to go after first are the easiest ones to get. So you want to make sure that you're first going after prospects who already want to buy what you sell. Now, currently, there are only two major mediums where you can actively market to people who have already made up their mind that they want to buy what you sell, but who just need to figure out who to buy it from. Those mediums are the Yellow Pages and internet search engines. Other marketing mediums serve their purpose, but for local market domination, you need to focus on the Yellow Pages and internet search engines. This is because people turn to these two sources once they've decided to buy your product or service, and they're now just looking for someone to buy it from. So with all that being said, let's get into the 10 parts of the market domination package. Let's start with the Yellow Pages, and then we'll get into the internet as we go along. Now, what happens when somebody finds you in the Yellow Pages? What do they typically do next? Well, really, there's only one of two options. The first option is obvious. They call you on the phone. The second answer is that they look you up online. Now, there's been a lot of discussion lately about whether or not the internet is going to wipe out the Yellow Pages. Well, the answer to that question is this. Yes, it will, but not anytime in the immediate future. The Yellow Pages will still be around for many more years, and there's still money to be made using this medium if you do it right. But of course, people are using the internet more and more, and the new Google Places feature is making local searches on the internet much easier for the end user. But here's the thing. Most people haven't figured out the obvious. They haven't figured out what I'm about to show you. The obvious thing here is this. The internet and the local Yellow Pages shouldn't be opposing mediums for you as an advertiser. In fact, they can and should be used synergistically to allow you to dominate. Now, let me give you some good news. Even though I don't know who you are, I can virtually guarantee that nobody in your industry, in your local market, is doing what I'm about to show you. Nobody. The bad news is that if your competitor watches this video first and then properly implements what I'm going to show you, then it's probably going to hurt your business. You'll see what I mean in just a second. But first, let's follow the typical sales flow for one of your prospects who finds you in the Yellow Pages. The first option is for them to call you on the phone. Then your reception will answer with a pretty typical or generic response. Perhaps they put them on hold and make them listen to some generic on hold music. Then they'll be connected to the salesperson, the order taker, or whoever. The end result is that you really don't seem any different from anybody else. The other option is for them to look you up online. When they find your website, it basically looks like an online brochure. However, there is a chance that they do a Google search and find one of your competitors, perhaps one who is closer to them. In any event, this process still leaves them feeling like the companies are all the same. Now, let's take a quick look at the phone call. But before we do, I want you to think for a minute about how much money you spend to get people to call you. I mean, your Yellow Page ad and your website basically exist just to get prospects to call you. Then when somebody does actually call, you really should do a good job of answering the call, but most businesses don't. Here's a perfect example. In this example, John Smith needs a plumber, so he calls up the first plumber in the Yellow Pages. He has no idea who's on the other line, and the phone call goes something like this.
Hello, Johnson's Plumbing. Can I help you?
Yes, my toilet is overflowing. I need a plumber.
One moment, please.
This is Jimmy. How can I help you?
My toilet is overflowing and I need it fixed.
We charge $95 for the trip, plus parts and labor.
Well, when can you get here?
When do you need us?
I'm up to my eyeballs in you know what.
Let me see if I can get somebody out there in a couple of hours. What's your address?
Sound familiar? Of course it does. See, the problem here is that there's no script in place. You need a script, my friend. A scripted phone call would sound something like this.
Hello, Johnson's Plumbing. This is Laura. How can I help you?
Yes, my toilet is overflowing and I need a plumber.
Okay, now what was your name, sir?
Well, this is Diego Rodriguez.
Thank you for calling, Mr. Rodriguez. Have you ever called Johnson's Plumbing before?
No, this is the first time.
Well, I'm going to transfer you to Jimmy Smith, who handles these types of emergencies. But real quick before I do that, I want to let you know that there are 3 guarantees we give to all of our customers. First, we will always come when we say we will, and we give you a guaranteed appointment window within 2 hours, and if we miss that window, the labor for your repair is free. Second, we always give you a guaranteed quote over the phone, so that there are no surprise charges after the repair is completed. And third, we guarantee all of our repairs for a full year to ensure that you don't get stuck paying for the same repair twice. We call this our 3-point guarantee. If you have any questions about any of those 3 points, Jimmy will be happy to answer them for you. Unless you have any additional questions for me, I'm now ready to transfer you to Jimmy Smith.
Okay, that sounds good.
Now, while the prospect is on hold, most businesses have some type of on-hold message. Here's the most typical type of on-hold music that you hear.
Thank you for waiting. We apologize for the inconvenience and are working as quickly as possible to take your call.
Or maybe the plumber ponied up the big bucks and had a professional recording done so it sounded something like this.
Thank you for calling Mr. Bruder Plumbing, America's troubleshooter. A representative will assist you in just a moment. Mr. Bruder Plumbing can handle all your residential, commercial, and industrial plumbing needs. We specialize in plumbing repairs as well as sewer and drain cleaning. And with over 30 years of experience, we've earned the reputation as the best in the business. Your call is important to us, so please hold, and we'll be right with you.
For crying out loud, it's another platitude festival. See, this is a wasted opportunity, my friend. Now let me show you how to do this right if you want to dominate. Here's an on-hold message from Rich Harshaw's MYM program like we would use.
Hi, this is Al Johnson, founder of Johnson Plumbing. I want to thank you for calling us. I know nobody likes to have plumbing problems, but when you do, you can rest assured calling Johnson Plumbing is the right thing to do. Well, I've got you a minute. I'd like to tell you why our customers love doing business with us so much. It's simple. We've eliminated the 3 biggest frustrations they normally have when doing business with a plumber. Let me explain. The first problem most people have is waiting around for the plumber to get there. Have you ever heard of this before? We'll be there sometime between 9 and 5. Like you don't have anything better to do with your day than sit around waiting for a plumber. When you call Johnson Plumbing, we'll give you a guaranteed appointment window of 2 hours or less. In other words, we'll narrow the time that we'll be there to less than 120 minutes. And if we miss the appointment time, the labor for our repair is absolutely free, no matter how long it takes for us to complete it. But don't get your hopes up for free labor. We've only missed our promise 4 times since 1993. With Johnson Plumbing, we'll guarantee you won't wait. The second major frustration you might face with most other plumbers is that they always seem to quote the job low and then come in later with a higher bill after the work is completed. At Johnson Plumbing, you'll never pay more than the original quote.
Are you starting to see how this works? Okay, let's start at the top. The first thing you will need to dominate is a power marketing-based yellow page ad. This ad here actually follows a specific marketing formula that you can read about in Rich's book. It's interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. In this case, the headline is The 3 Biggest Problems with Most Plumbers and How Johnson's Plumbing Overcomes Them All. This is a power-packed headline, and it is guaranteed to stand out big time in a heading full of platitudes that say things like residential and commercial, we'll find it and we'll fix it, 30 years plumbing experience, etc. Those are all the ridiculous platitudes that the competition has in their ads. Now, take notice of the offer. Don't spend a dime on plumbing repairs until you've read this free report entitled A Homeowner's Guide to Plumbing Repair. You'll need a report like this professionally designed and produced in PDF format. Here's an example of what that might look like. Now, a report like this gives your prospects the impression that you are the true professional in the industry who has nothing to hide and who can be trusted. See, confidence in your company is the most important tool to bring your customers to the conclusion that they should buy from you instead of your competitors. Okay, so again, when somebody calls you based on your power marketing-based yellow page ad, you'll need to have a script. Then you'll need a professional on-hold message. You'll need another script written for your order taker, and then you'll need a pre-positioning tool. This would be something like a postcard, a sales letter, a scripted email, or some other marketing tool. Here's an example of a professionally designed pre-positioning tool. In this case, it's a postcard. Now, in most cases, plumbers come right out to see their clients because plumbing is usually an emergency-based business. But what about those times when prospects set an appointment to meet with you at a later date? You really need to send something in advance of your appointment. For this plumber, they would probably only set an actual appointment when it's a larger deal and a major overhaul is being quoted. But think about your sales process. You probably have some time available to get something in the mail to your prospect before your salespeople show up and meet them in person. Now, the pre-positioning tool doesn't need to do a lot of selling for you. Instead, it should educate the prospect and or give them the unshakable confidence that you are the best company to do business with. In this case, the postcard reads, "You made the right choice with Johnson's Plumbing. We look forward to meeting with you very soon. Before a technician arrives at your location, we'd like to share the following 4 tips to ensure that your experience with Johnson's exceeds your expectations." Now, if your prospects don't call you, they might look you up online.
If you don't have a website, then you lose. Of course, if you have a sorry website, then you still lose. What you need is a professionally designed website that matches your existing brand based on your yellow page ad design or other advertisements.
Then you need a short video. 2 minutes or less, on your homepage that describes why prospects should do business with you. You'll then need to post additional videos that answer the prospect's frequently asked questions and questions that they should be asking. Now, let me give you an example of what this would look like for Johnson's Plumbing. Notice the simple and clean design. Notice how the colors and graphics match their branding from the Yellow Page ad. Now, look at how the special report is instantly obvious on the right side, and it is available for immediate download in PDF format. Next, I want you to take a look at this video. It's a short video, only 120 seconds long, so it entices the visitor to click play. Let's watch.
Hi, this is Laura from Johnson Plumbing. More than likely, I'll be the one that answers the phone when you call us. But really quick, I wanted to explain to you the 3 biggest problems you'll have with all other plumbers in town and how Johnson Plumbing overcomes them all. The first problem is waiting around for the plumber to get to your place. Typically, they tell you that they'll be there sometime between 9 and 5, like you don't have anything better to do than wait all day. However, at Johnson Plumbing, we will give you a guaranteed window of 2 hours or less. And if we miss our appointment time within that 2-hour window, the labor for our repair will be absolutely free. Yes, you heard that right. But don't get your hopes up for free labor because we've only missed our appointment time 4 times since 1993. The second problem is that the repair doesn't stay fixed. You know, after they fix your leaky faucet, the faucet starts leaking again the next week. This problem is usually due to a lack of experience on the part of the technician or the unavailability of parts. At Johnson Plumbing, our technicians have an average of 8.4 years of experience, so they know exactly how to fix it right the first time. Plus, we carry exactly 3,492 different parts on each service vehicle so that we will have the part that you need to fix it right the first time, every time. The third problem is that the final bill is more than the original bill they quoted you. Beware of plumbers who give you the lowest quote on the phone because it's not uncommon for them to tack on additional charges after the work is done. At Johnson Plumbing, we guarantee that the price you are quoted is the exact price you will pay, not a penny more. Before you work with any plumber here in town, I want to suggest that you first download our free report entitled A Homeowner's Guide to Plumbing Repair. This report will give you all the information you need to ensure that your experience with any plumber you choose will not be an unpleasant one. Even if you don't choose Johnson Plumbing, please don't spend a dime on any plumbing repair until you've read this free report. You can download this report by clicking on it on the right side of this webpage. Thanks and have a great day.
Now, notice these 2 links, 5 answers to your frequently asked questions and 5 answers to questions you should be asking. These links take you to 10 more videos that last about 30 seconds each. Visitors to your website will watch these videos and draw the conclusion that you are their advocate and they'll feel comfortable with you. They'll feel like you are open and transparent and they'll feel like they can have confidence in your company. If you've done all of this, you will cause your prospects to draw this conclusion. I'd have to be an absolute fool to do business with anybody else but you, regardless of price. So what about people who just look you up online and don't ever open up the Yellow Pages? Well, I've got good news and bad news for you. Let me give you the bad news first. The bad news is that if you don't show up above the fold on the first page of Google, you will basically never be found. Now let me show you what I mean. Here we are on Google. Now let's stick with the plumbing example and let's say we're looking for a plumber in Boise. I would probably search for Boise plumber. Now you see there's about 13 businesses that are showing up here on page 1 of this Google search. Now let me share something with you that a lot of businesses don't know about. Many businesses spent thousands of dollars on search engine optimization and have recently been bumped down on page 1 or even pushed back to page 2 or more. This is because Google has introduced a new feature for local searches called Google Places. In short, Google has created a little website for every business in America called a Google Places page. And you can tell it's a Google Places page by the little red place marker off to the left here. Your business probably already has one of these websites set up for you and you didn't even know it. But here's the thing. If you want to show up on the top of a Google search, you actually need to optimize your Google Places page and not necessarily your website. See, this is another reason why typical search engine optimization is not as effective anymore, because SEO companies are still optimizing your website and not your Google Places page. Furthermore, most SEO companies don't even know how to optimize a Google Places page because the rules are different. Anyhow, I want you to note that the bottom of this web page right here is what we call the fold. The fold is a part of the web page where you have to start scrolling. Now here's why that's important. Study after study has shown that if your business isn't showing up above the fold, then you're basically non-existent. You need to show up above the fold. What this means is that you need to have a professional search engine optimization company optimize your Google Places page and guarantee for you that your website appears on Google page 1 above the fold. Now let me give you one quick example. Here's some local SEO work we did for a garage door company in Fresno, California. A few months ago, they didn't even show up on a Google search anywhere. Now you can see their Google Places page is number 3. This website is generating calls basically every day, and it only took us less than 60 days to get this Google Places page in the top 3 in a fairly competitive heading in a relatively large market. I mean, Fresno County has almost 1 million people. Now, once you've done all of this, you will begin to dominate. More specifically, the following 2 things will happen. First, you'll get more phone calls per month. Second, with your scripts in place and with the fact that your prospects already feel comfortable with you before their first contact, you will increase your closing ratio. Now answer me this. What is that worth to you in real dollars and cents based on your profit margin in your business? I mean, if you could simultaneously increase the number of leads generated from your Yellow Page ad and website and also increase your closing ratio, I mean, what would that be worth to you? Do the math really quick in your head. I mean, how much more money would you put in your pocket each month if, let's say, you just doubled the amount of calls you got each month and increased your closing ratio by, say, 20%? Well, it's different for everybody, but I can guarantee you this. It's a lot of money. And that's money that you're leaving on the table by not implementing a program like this. Folks, that money represents the difference between just getting by because of the sheer force of the market and actually dominating your entire marketplace. So which one do you want to do? Well, before you get too excited, take note that you have to do each one of these 10 things just right in order for this to work for you. For example, consider the iPhone and the iPad. If you don't encode your video properly on your website and then script the proper code onto your homepage, your video won't play. Many web designers still use Adobe Flash, which won't work on an iPhone or an iPad. You'll need to encode it properly. In this case, let me show you this actual screenshot of this sample website, and you can see that it will play back properly. But the point here is this. Every step of the way, from the Yellow Page ad to the designs to the scripts and the videos, you'll have to be certain that you create everything properly or else you won't maximize your return on investment. Speaking of that, let me explain the last step in the process. You need to take professional portraits of your staff for all of your marketing material. Now, in the Johnson's Plumbing example, we featured Laura, who is the secretary for Johnson's Plumbing. This is an example of how you should use actual pictures of your actual employees because it both gives you a creative edge over your competition, but more importantly, it causes your prospects to feel more comfortable doing business with you because the photos, audio recordings, and videos of your actual employees makes the prospect feel like they already know you before they even contact you. See, this is an incredibly powerful marketing strategy, and virtually nobody uses it on a local level. Now, one problem some people have with this is that they feel a bit self-conscious. For example, take a look at this snapshot of Laura from Johnson's Plumbing. It's just a snapshot taken at a dinner somewhere. Now, if we zoom in, you'll see that she has some imperfections in her skin, just like everybody on the planet. But watch what happens when we make a professional portrait out of this. You see that? That's called a professional portrait. A professional photographer can do this with your existing photos, or better yet, they can take brand new professional portraits. By way of comparison, here's what the image originally looked like. Again, a professional photographer can even change things around to match your branding. For example, Laura's dress color and background could be changed like this. If you want to dominate, you need to do this for all of your public-facing employees. So, now let's review the 10 points in the market domination package. First, you need a power marketing-based strategic marketing message for all of your sales collateral. We call this a master letter. Second, you'll need a professional design package for your Yellow Page ad and sales brochure. Third, you'll need to have a professional marketing report written, designed, and produced and made available for download in PDF format. Fourth, you'll need to have a professional pre-positioning tool like a postcard, sales letter, or flyer to send in advance of your appointments. Fifth, you'll need a complete sales scripting package for those who answer the phones, take orders, and for those who meet your clients in person.
Sixth, you need professional audio recordings for both your on-hold message and your after-hours greeting produced with your voice or the voice of someone else in your company. In some instances, professional voice talent can be used, but you need to do this to ensure that prospects who call after hours are not neglected but are given an appropriate sales message. Seventh, you'll need complete search engine optimization for your Google Places page with guaranteed first page placement. Eighth, you'll need a professional website designed that matches your company branding and that has at least 11 videos as described earlier. Ninth, of course, you'll need to have those 11 videos professionally produced and encoded for your website. And finally, number 10, you'll need to have professional portraits produced for your public-facing employees.
That's what you need to do to dominate. Again, what would it mean to your business if you went ahead and did this? I mean, think about it. Think about the business potential that would be tapped into by executing this plan for domination. I told you earlier that this process was not hype, but it was a real marketing program with the potential to triple your revenue. Now, I know I went through it relatively quickly, but I want to ask you two simple questions now as someone who is in business for themselves. The first question is this: do you think this program would work for you or not? I mean, seriously, if you properly executed all 10 of these steps, do you think that it would take your business to the top of your local market or not? Again, what would it mean to you financially to increase both the number of calls you get and your closing ratio? Go ahead and do the math and then determine whether or not you could actually triple your revenue this year. Now, in many cases, local businesses can actually do more than triple their revenue because we're not just talking about getting a few more clients. We're talking about dominating your local market. Again, just do the math and determine how much more money you think you could make. Now, if it turns out that you can only double your revenue instead of tripling it, I'm going to guess that will still be okay with you. Now, okay, so on to the second question, which is actually a repeat of the first question, but asked another way. Again, the first question was, do you think this 10-point program would work for you or not? The second question is this: do you want your competitor to execute this program? See, it's basically the same question. If you don't want your competitor to execute this 10-point market domination package, it's because you're convinced that it will work.
Welcome back. 9 out of 10 business owners I talk to after watching this presentation tell me that they do not want their competition to get their hands on this information. Because each business is unique, we create custom marketing strategies that are tailored for your specific business needs using the 10-point marketing system you just saw. I am absolutely certain at this point, what you have seen is a remarkably different approach to marketing. And based upon what you have just seen, there are probably some things you're doing with your marketing that are not producing the best results. And they're certainly not getting you the return on investment you should be getting. Since Power Marketing and Consulting is a full-featured ad agency, we can actually execute this entire strategy for you. We will show you how to take the money you're currently spending, use our marketing system, and create more leads, more customers, guaranteed. However, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news is this: we have a very special offer for businesses that want to execute this marketing system. Okay, are you ready to hear this special? Here's what we've put together. We're going to offer and make available a complimentary strategic discovery session with qualified business owners. That's right, complimentary. Our real price that we charge and receive for a strategic discovery session is $599. This is not a gimmick or a phony baloney price, and you're going to see why I say this in just a moment. Because you've watched all the way to the end, this tells me you're serious about your business and you want to know more. So here's a brief overview of what you will receive in your strategic discovery session. We will cover 7 key areas that are the main drivers for all your marketing, sales, content, and material. First, we will take a detailed look at all your current marketing, no matter how painful that this might be in light of what we just uncovered. And there is a 7-point checklist for this section. Second, we will examine your target market, its geography, demographics, and psychographics. We will also put together a profile for what your perfect customer looks like in detail. This will form the foundation for all future marketing and sales. This is priceless. Third, we will uncover the benefits that drive your business. We will look at the reasons why someone would buy what you sell, the real benefits your customers get from your product or service, and there are 3 key benefit-related categories we will cover in this section. Fourth, we will discuss and look at objections, the main reasons your potential customers are not buying, and there are 3 objection categories that we will go into in great detail. Fifth, who are your competitors? Why are your potential customers buying from your competitors? How much of the market are you missing out on? As part of this, we will look at what is unique about your company that no one else offers in your industry. What separates you, makes you different, that would cause somebody to give you their hard-earned money instead of your competition? These are the core topics when building your 10-step marketing system. Sixth, This session of your strategic discovery session is deeply revealing because we will look at what are the questions people should be asking about your product, service, or industry that they probably don't know that they should be asking. And how do we use this information to drive your sales? Seventh, we will discuss the most frequently asked questions and how to use these effectively in your marketing and sales process. Okay. Your strategic discovery session will take approximately 2 hours to go through, and it will be worth every moment of your time to create this type of clarity for your marketing and sales. Now for the bad news. Since only one company can dominate in any heading per market, then we can only execute this strategic marketing system with one company in your industry. And no, this is not a gimmick to try and fake a sense of urgency on you. It's just common business ethics. By definition, only one company can dominate a local market. So we can only work with one client in your industry. It's that simple. Either we do this for you or for your competitor. What that means is this: if your competitor gets to us first and we execute this strategy for them, then we simply will not be able to work with you on a project like this later. We work on a first come, first served basis. So contact your account executive as soon as possible so we can get you started today. Just call us at 801-796-7800 or visit us at strategicdiscoverysession.com. Oh, and one last thing I haven't mentioned. By engaging in a strategic discovery session in the next 15 days, you will receive an additional discount off our consulting and strategic fulfillment services. What this means is when you choose to have our team execute your 10-point total domination strategy, you will receive a package price so good that we can't put it on the video. This is a limited time offer. So take action now and call 801-796-7800 or visit strategicdiscoverysession.com. Go ahead, go there now and get your complimentary strategic discovery session. You'll be glad that you did. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you dominate your market.